You know, we all think of beet juice as this absolute health powerhouse. I mean, it is. But what if I told you that mixing this superfood with other common, seemingly healthy ingredients could be causing some silent trouble inside your body? It turns out lots of people are unknowingly creating combinations that totally cancel out the benefits, or even worse, create brand new problems. So that brings us to the big question. Is your healthy habit actually backfiring? We're about to dive into some of the most popular and surprisingly problematic beet juice combinations. We've grouped them into 3 main categories. Let's see if any of these sound a little familiar. All right, first up, let's talk about what we're calling the acidity conflict. This is where ingredients that we think of as fresh or detoxifying actually go to war with all the good stuff in beet juice, right there in your digestive system. Okay, let's start with the classic, beet and lemon juice. You'd think, great, a vitamin C detox boost. But the reality can be pretty different. For a lot of people, that high acidity from the lemon can trigger heartburn and stomach irritation. But, and this is the really sneaky part, that same acidity can mess with your stomach's pH, which is absolutely crucial for absorbing minerals. So it can literally block your body from taking in the valuable nutrients from the beet, especially its amazing plant-based iron. And you know, it's a very similar story with oranges. It seems like a no-brainer for a refreshing, vitamin-packed drink. But when you combine the high acidity from the orange with the natural sugars in both, you can actually cause fermentation in your gut. And you know what that means? Gas and bloating. Not fun. Even crazier, that big dose of vitamin C can get in the way of your body converting the beet's nitrates into nitric oxide, which weakens the very heart and circulation benefits you're probably drinking it for in the first place. And this is a perfect example of what happens with extreme acidity. People add apple cider vinegar thinking they're making some kind of super detox tonic. But the truth is, the acetic acid in vinegar is so strong it can literally destroy the beneficial nitrates in the beet juice before your body even gets a chance to use them. Plus, it puts extra stress on your liver, which now has to work overtime just to get your body's pH back in balance. Okay, so we've talked about acidity. Now let's move on to the next section, the sugar and dairy traps. These are the things people often add to make their juice taste better or creamier. But wow, do they come with some serious hidden downsides? So here's the deal with what the source calls the sugar nitrate conflict. You think you're doing something good by adding a healthy sweetener like honey, right? But these concentrated sugars completely disrupt the delicate process that turns nitrates into that all-important nitric oxide. It basically slams the brakes on the main circulatory benefit of beet juice, and you're just left with a sugary drink that can spike your blood glucose. Now this one might actually surprise you. Ever try to make a creamy beet smoothie using milk or yogurt? Well, the natural acidity in the beets can cause the milk proteins to curdle inside your stomach. It creates what feels like a rock in your gut and can lead to some major digestive upset. This internal battle also means you end up absorbing fewer nutrients from both the dairy and the beets. It's a lose-lose. All right, our third and final category of mistakes is the high oxalate overload. This is a perfect example of how you can take 2 incredibly healthy foods, but when you combine them in a super concentrated form like juice, you can create a really serious problem for your body. So what in the world are oxalates? Well, pretty simply, they're just natural compounds found in a lot of plants, and their job is to bind to minerals. Now, in moderation, no big deal, they're harmless. But when you get them in really high concentrations, they can form these tiny, sharp crystals inside your body. And why should you care about these little crystals? Well, look at this number. A staggering 80% of all kidney stones are made of calcium oxalate crystals. This isn't some minor side effect. It's the #1 cause for most people. So the risk of an oxalate overload is something we really have to take seriously. And that brings us to 2 extremely popular juice combos, beets with raw spinach and beets with carrots. The thing is, both beets and spinach and beets and carrots are high in oxalates. When you juice them together raw, you're creating a super concentrated dose. Those oxalates can then form those sharp crystals in your kidneys, which dramatically increases your risk of kidney stones and also blocks your body from absorbing other vital minerals. Okay, whew, I know that was a lot of what not to do, but hey, knowledge is power, right? Now that we've pinpointed all the common mistakes, we can flip the script and focus on the solution, the right way to get all those amazing benefits with none of the risks. So let's get into the good stuff, the right way to drink beet juice. The goal here is simple. We want to maximize all the incredible benefits for your circulation, your energy, your liver support, while completely getting rid of any potential for harm. And the good news is, the solution is really straightforward. It all starts with rule number 1, respect the dose. 1 medium beet is the sweet spot. Next, drink it pure. That means no sweeteners because, as we just saw, sugar just sabotages the whole point. For the biggest impact, have it on a light stomach so nothing gets in the way of absorption. And fresh is totally non-negotiable, since those good-for-you nitrates break down fast. Also, remember to sip it slowly, don't just gulp it down. This gives your body time to process everything effectively. And finally, rotate it. Don't drink it every single day. Give your body a break and mix it up with other healthy juices to keep everything in balance. And here's a little cheat sheet for you. If you really want to add something to your beet juice for flavor or just to get more volume, stick with safe, hydrating, low oxalate options. Things like cucumber, celery, maybe a small piece of green apple, or even just plain water are perfect. And as a final reminder, the big 3 to avoid are added sugar, any kind of dairy, and other high oxalate vegetables. It's really as simple as that. You know, I think this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about the ingredient, it's about the method. When you get the method right, that's when you unlock the full therapeutic power of this amazing vegetable. So as we wrap this up, the final question is really for you. After seeing the science behind these combinations, which one, if any, are you thinking about changing in your own routine starting today? Definitely something to think about.